Good afternoon, good evening, and good day. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. Hello, Akito. More milk, yeah, I know. Mommy's bringing it. Yeah, she's bringing it. All right, so there's nothing in the notebook today, and we're going to look at some headlines and see what's going on with those. Let me get this back over to chat view. And then we've also got, I wanted to talk about solar and batteries in the face of increasingly common and more severe natural disasters. Highlander says, "Are we alive, Mr. Green?" Yeah, I sent you an invite on X. Hopefully it comes through. And there is one of our favorite young moderators. That's right. And Andrew says, "Good evening." There we go. Comments working. Yeah. And Andrew says, "Good evening." Good evening, Andrew. One of our longest standing members. Yes, he is. Yeah. All the way from Sweden. He stays up late or gets up early to see us. It is a pleasure talking with him all the time. Yes, it is. Yeah, look at that smile. Okay, so where do we want to start? Do we want to start looking at headlines, or do we want to start in with the solar and disasters? Let's see what the stream is stable yet. It doesn't say it's stable, so let's look at the headlines real quick, and then we'll go from there. Let's open up a new tab, and let's do. Who do we want to do first? Let's try Inside EVs and see if they send us off to the bad server. Let's see. All right. So now we've got some numbers coming in. Looks like the stream is stabilizing a little bit. So we could jump into solar and battery whenever we want if we don't like what we're seeing here. All right. So they gave us the bad server. So we're going to go to another new website. And we're going to go to, let's do green car reports because they don't usually overwhelm me. And then we're going to get into the heavier stuff. They've still got a Volkswagen ID Buzz on the top. Why? Oh. Why? Their last stuff is from March. What happened to them? Why are their headlines frozen? No more articles since March? Videos in March? I hope everybody's okay at the Inside EVs at the Green Car Reports team. That's scary. Literally, March 31st was the last publication on the homepage. Let's go to news. March 25th. Oh boy. That doesn't look good. It looks like the Green Car Reports team has something going on with them. Let's see. Andrew says it's 1923 there, so it's almost bedtime. So today he's winding down with us, and then he gets up early. Like I guess he got to work or something on the Tesla days, and he watches us there too. Islander says he's not getting anything on Xbox yet by way of invite. Well, let me do it again. Maybe X is doing their thing again. Let's invite, share a post to mine there, and then we will invite via DM. I'll click on Highlander. And Robert, Slimy, Brian. Oh, wake up Brian, he's not already awake. Invite. See what happens. Hopefully he gets it. Twitter X. Anders says X. Yep. Highlander says hi, Anders. And Anders says hi, Highlander. And there's
Got it.
There you
X
go.
is a little slow today.
It's being that way. It took me 4 tries to get the space going. So I'm gonna invite co-host, and hopefully that doesn't break anything. Send. That way you can manage the speakers. Not that I can't do it. It's just you got all these balls up in the air. It's hard to deal with. Uh-oh, you got a little spit on your face. All right, so we found out that Green Car Reports hasn't published anything since the end of March. I'm hoping they're okay. That doesn't bode well that we're in the beginning of July. Request from Moto. Moto would like to get the app Kids Coloring and Drawing free from the App Store. let's take a look. There's not an advertisement. Where'd it go? I don't see it. Options, details. I'm not going to just say yes. Oh, it's opening on the screen I'm on in front of me. Why? Kids coloring games and drawing with a big old happy green monster. It's got a 4.3. Data's not linked. It's age rating 4+. I have a feeling it's going to be an advertising monster I'm going to have to uninstall later. We'll go ahead and prove it. She's learning timing. Fingerprint. Okay. Here we go. Yes, Martha. Go. Milk. Yes, mommy's working on it. Faster? I know. We can't make her go faster. That's how you make her mad. Somebody's not cooking fast enough? You got to cook it yourself. That's how it works. You got the standing, but you're gonna have to work on the hand-eye coordination, the reading and recognition of shapes, and the not falling over when you're standing part. That helps too. Yeah, I think by the time you're Moto size, you could be making yourself some snacks and stuff with the Montessori connection they call it. Yeah, Moto's got real kitchen utensils, even a sharp knife. Not a stabby knife, but a sharp knife. You can cut stuff. Thank you, Mommy. And our beverage, cranberry juice. Microsoft was complaining about your milk speed, and I told her that if she wants her food faster, she can learn to cook.
I see the real one, this van.
You saw this van? Did you like it?
When we drive to Mom's house.
It was there? Or on the road?
On the road, about between the road to go to shop, Colombia.
Oh, it was driving?
Yeah, before we gonna turn to foreign.
Oh, okay. I've never seen one driving. That is cool.
Green, but not green.
Green and white?
Green, white, but green is like green, yellow.
Oh, kind of like a lime green and yellow. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Gig is telling me that she saw a ID Buzz in lime green and white on the way to visit Grandma's house for the holiday. That's really cool. And I guess wherever it was not in the path of me being able to pay attention to what FSD was doing, because I did not even notice it. I saw a bunch of ID4s, but I didn't notice that ID Buzz. That's pretty cool. All right, so while we mourn whatever's going on at Green Car Reports, let's Highlander says technical note. Can't raise my hand on X. Oh, I don't know why that is, but go ahead and speak. What's wrong with the milk? I know about the milk. We talked about it, and I told Mommy, and then she told me about the green car. All right, so now we're going to try inside EVs again. Oh, I'm sorry. I know about the milk, yes. Let's see if this is too hot. It's not too hot. Would you like to taste this bacon? Taste this bacon. Why I call it that way? Because it's not real bacon. It's fake. All right, wait, leave some for me. Is it fat on the outside? Yeah, it's got fat on the outside. But real bacon's got fat too. Oh, you like that? She's over here saying milk. That's a sign for baby sign for milk. I know. That's Mommy. Oh, she's gonna take you and give you milk, okay? Well, thanks for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure having you. And we hope you come around again for the next one. Yes? Oh, you want your door prize? Your door prize is over here with Mommy. She'll take care of it. All right. See you next time. All right. Bye-bye. There we go. See you soon. Okay. Back out of X all the way and then come back. Okay. It says he's connecting. And Brain Wallet says has a picture of his youngest doing the same thing, coding a website, no streaming. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, I saw him, and then he was gone. Okay, so when he comes back, we'll give him the microphone back. Okay. So, like I said, let's go over some headlines real quick. It looks like everything's getting stable on the stream. So let's just share screen, and then we'll go over these, and then we'll talk about disasters and solar and batteries. So share screen. It's gonna spin a bit. Spinning. Should ask me what screen I want to share. Because I could share the whole screen. I could share an app. There it is. Let's share inside EVs. Carrie, the CEO. Awesome. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Oh, and then Highlander's back on X. Let's let him back in.
Yes, I could always.
Invite. Send.
I'm back on X, Casey.
Welcome back. All right. And what did you said you had your hand wanted to raise your hand? So what you got? At the Xiaomi YU7, that's a hard time. Is it going viral? So that would affect Europe. It wouldn't affect the North America. Well, it might affect Mexico too. And depending on how this political gamesmanship goes, it could.
Okay, let me raise my hand.
Excellent.
Quick question before you hit the hard stuff.
What you got?
Did you get the video clip of the veterans group?
Maybe, but I wasn't checking my messages because I was busy driving and dealing with baby stuff. But I'll take a look. I will take a look. Was it a direct message or the email? That's why Silverstone. That's awesome. Highlander muted himself in the middle of me asking questions. Okay, so speaking of politics, Slate struck under $20,000 price just became a political casualty. If you didn't notice, on the 4th, we passed a spending legislation. And
I'll try to resend it.
Okay, yeah. We passed a spending legislation, and in it, they wanted to end the EV tax credits, which we knew was going to happen around December, but then they introduced a push to end it in September instead. So if you are in the market and you qualify for the tax credit, and the tax credit is something you want, you got to do it by September unless somebody reads this thing and finds out that, okay, we've got more time. I have been rolling and haven't had time to obtain and read legislation. Not that it isn't something you should do. It's just I don't want to be angered, so I didn't use my free time to do that. I keep hitting the corners with this mouse. Which makes everything collapse. EVs will decimate big oil even without U.S. tax credits. This is given for the same reasons I keep saying. Doing what's good for the environment is often good for your wallet. And it's going to happen here with the EVs as well. It's going to continue to happen. It's just going to take a little longer than it did previously. But as the oil gets more and more expensive to extract and process, the price will continue to do what it always has done and go up. was listening to a news report about it's one of the busiest travel holidays in years, and gas is also its lowest price since I think she said last year. I don't keep track of the price of gas. And we got out on the road and we didn't see all that many people. Like we were, FSD was flying down the road, and I think we saw 2 or 3 policemen on the way there. The car, one of them was right when we got on the road. The car tried to surf them, and I'm like, "You don't surf the police or the ambulance unless it's your people in it." So I cut it back a little bit, and then we picked it back up again. Yeah, so basically all that to say that I didn't see too much road traffic, despite the lowest gas price in a while, and on the heaviest travel day. But that kind of prediction is just like predicting the weather. It can play out. It can play out wrong. But all of that to say that yes, EVs will more than decimate big oil. They will eliminate the fossil fuels for not for transportation or combustion cars, but they will do it for the majority of private transportation. It's just going to take longer than it was going to before. CLA is actually selling great. Okay. We saw one. The car wanted us to stop at the Florence Mall supercharger, and we didn't want to stop there because it's a V2, and we were on a mission, and a V2 doesn't do that. And we saw the Mercedes, not the CLA, but we saw the regular S electric, whatever they call that one. It was pretty. It was in black, and it had, I think it still had stock wheels, but it may have had custom wheels on it. And then after we left the Florence Mall supercharger and didn't charge, we went to the Williston Road supercharger, which is the Florence Buc-ee's. And we had our fastest supercharge ever in our almost 8-year-old Model X. We had 190 kilowatts for about 45 seconds, maybe almost a minute. And that's phenomenal, especially when you think back to 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, when we were throttled on supercharging and we weren't able to get up above 120. So that was pretty cool to see. 190. I don't believe that the Model 3 was doing much more than 200 when it first came out on V3. So that was fun to see. The early Ioniq 9 charge test looks really good. Okay, that's good to hear. BYD sold its millionth Seagull. Congratulations to them. Mercedes luxury van packs some serious range. Hopefully, unlike the Metris, it has a reasonable seat sliding, reclining, removal, or folding into the floor accommodation, because to spend that much money on a van and then have to muscle the seats around like it's a 1993 Dodge Caravan. Right, Highlander? I know Highlander knows what I'm talking about. There's a new best-selling non-Tesla EV on the block. Looks like it's the Blazer or the Equinox. Can't tell them apart. And then
I love the Caravan.
You're right. Then we learned that the Model Y gave up its crown as best-selling vehicle in the world to the Toyota RAV4. Hopefully, they can get back to business, and we'll see what happens. Or at least, if it doesn't happen to be them, hopefully whoever it is happens to be electric, because that's kind of disappointing to see it drop back down to not a hybrid, but a menagerie of cars that might include a hybrid. Here are the upcoming cars for 2025, 6 and beyond. who gives their phone to a lot of people. Tesla driver says you should enable this little known feature. Viewers aren't sure. Might stop your 8-year-old from accidentally putting the car in drive. Oh, you know what that is? It's probably pinned to drive. Let's take a look. And best electric trucks, SUVs, and crossovers for towing. I tow a lot. Let's see what that's all about. If mine's on the list, I will be confused. Or actually, if mine is on the list, it will probably not be the performance variant. So let's take a look. Downright unsafe. Austin man takes a Tesla robotaxi ride. Here's what to know before hailing one. I only saw 3 or 4 mildly concerning things. So I'm curious what they saw. We were stranded. Woman on 1,500 miles home from their road trip. Then her Tesla doors lock. I'm curious what's going on there. That sounds like clickbait. EV tax credit is dead. Here's why I still have hope. July 3rd. So maybe this one has looked at the law and found out what day it is, if it's the 12th or 9th month. Toyota was flabbergasted by BYD's EV development speed. I don't know why. You're so late, Toyota. You've had all of the resources, all of the notice, and there's nothing to be surprised about. Maybe it's because I didn't write that letter to Mr. Toyota. The best affordable cars in 2025. That looks like a outgoing Nissan Leaf. And then we've got some more Xiaomi, Volvo. Volvo built the Polestar 7 in Slovakia to dodge the China tariffs. I was wondering how they were going to get around that, because that's a Chinese company, basically. Geely and Polestar. They do build some Volvos around the corner from this building, so that helps them with the Volvo side of it. These hybrids are on a tear. A friend of mine just got a hybrid. I need to read her message and respond to her. So I think that's enough from Inside EVs. Let's go ahead and look at their articles, and then, like I said, we'll get into the solar and battery. Irving capped off a sluggish sales quarter with a fat check from his new partner. They got another $1 billion from Volkswagen. That's nice. The EQS, that's the one that we saw. The EQS is struggling, and its radical design might be why. It is pretty, though. Here are all the EVs and hybrids that qualify for tax credit in 2025, updated. And then the next day it's gone. No sign of recovery for the Tesla brand. Report is full of bad news. Sure. Let's switch this tab instead. Gives their phone to a lot of people. Viewers aren't sure. Might stop your 8-year-old from accidentally putting your car in drive. How about stopping your 4-year-old from putting your car in neutral? That was me. Mom had a brown Firebird. She had done the engine swap on it, and got a bigger engine. It was fun. And we went up to her mom's house. She popped in the driveway, put everything in park, said, "Don't touch anything. I'll be in there for a moment. Gotta grab something and come back." And I guess it was more than a moment for a 4-year-old, so I looked at the lever there and released it. It was the park brake, the handbrake at the time. And it was a Firebird with an upgraded engine, so, it was a manual car, right? And Grandma's driveway wasn't steep by any means, but it's like this. It's clear water. And the 4-year-old and the Firebird roll into the street. I'm like, all right, well, what can we do to fix this? So I'm 4 and I'm in the wrong seat, so I can't put the brake back on enough to stop the old car from rolling into the street. And we end up in the street. And she's got the door open and everything, because she's only gonna be a minute, so why bother closing the front door? And she can hear if anything untoward happens, right? She hears beeping, and she doesn't hear any glass breaking and metal crunching, so she's wondering what the heck's going on. Why is there beeping outside her mom's house? Why is my car in the driveway in the street? That was a little badass. It wasn't the neighbors beeping at me, but it was just somebody driving through the neighborhood. It's like, hey, there's a car on the street. Get out of the street. Just sitting there. And there's nobody in it. Yeah. But there was. 4-year-olds don't really show up over the dash. So be careful with your kids and pushing buttons in the car. I think Brain Wallet, Highlander. So they offer a unique security feature in its cars, but how does it work and who really needs it? TikTok video posted extolling the vehicle's option for putting in a PIN number to drive. Yes. If you give your phone to a lot of people and you own a Tesla, you may want to enable this. You can just walk outside in your car and put the thing in drive and go. So yeah, there's that. There's definitely that. If you have a newer one, you've got a legacy, that's not as easy. Although without any controls on it, they still certainly could. Whisk your car away, even on a legacy, as long as you got a network connection. Setting up a PIN allows you to enable several functions, including parental controls like speed limits and curfew reminders. You can do valet mode. And if you try to put the car in drive, if you try to turn the car on, it'll prompt you. It will turn the air conditioner on and all the stuff, but it won't go into ready mode, aka crank or start. Demonstrates the keypad appearing on the touchscreen of what appears to be a white Model Y, telling you to put in your PIN to drive the vehicle. And what prompted me most into using this feature, at the time we were in Virginia, and our local service center managed to have 4 Model S's stolen. I think this was just as the Model 3 was coming out. No, because to be in Virginia, Model 3 was out. Model 3 was just ramping, and it was before our FSD hardware 3 upgrade. So they had 4 Model S's stolen, and the cops caught 3 people driving the Model S's. So you've got 4 cars just out on the road and 3 people apprehended. Tells me that whoever escaped, because they weren't really self-driving at the time, whoever escaped was of a high likelihood to be able to repeat these thefts. So I enabled PIN to drive. And the next time I was in for service, I think was for my upgrade or something around there. The store also had PIN to drive turned on. I was like, well, that just solidifies it for me. So I also enabled PIN to drive, and it's been on ever since. They've been through back and forth where you got to give them a PIN, or they can just use their toolboxes to do it. I like it when they just use their toolboxes to do it. But I think the reason they wanted one, this most recent service, was because they were dealing with an unknown issue that could have been the computer, and so they needed one in case it didn't come back correctly. So we gave them one, and when they were done, we brought back their Model Y after hours, and they had my key stashed somewhere safe, but disconnected, disassembled. That way it couldn't activate the car. It's kind of interesting. They have a new thing now where, not really a new policy, but it's new in the system where the system waits for you to have logged as paid before they release your car to working again, even if you're an loaner, which is interesting. Not that it was a problem for me, but there was a guy there whose insurance was paying for some service that particular shop was allowed to do because it was not a Tesla service center. I want to say probably windshields or something, but anything that doesn't look like changing tires or or fluid swaps. Not even oil changes, but fluid swaps. And his insurance was just taking their sweet time. They said, "Okay, we'll have paid today," and like he's been in there for like 2 hours trying to get his car back, waiting for them to actually release the payment to Tesla, which is not fun. But I don't think he was there when I got there, so he obviously got it done. Now let me get a fake sausage here real quick. Pardon me. Okay. So to say smudge security flaw, there was an update very soon after pin to drive came out that moves the pin all over the screen. So I don't think the smudge is our security flaw. Yep. Demonstrates the keypad. So it's a different spot. Reported errors of the function after their vehicle is serviced. Another member said it suddenly stopped recognizing their pin, making it so they couldn't drive the vehicle. 24 hours later, they say it inexplicably started working again. It just randomly fixed itself. So if this happens to you, you can still use your Tesla app in combination with your Tesla password to remove the pin. And then after you've removed it, you can set it to something else. And that will take care of not knowing what the pin is. It'll be something fresh. It'll have been freshly set to the car on that software version, and you'll be good to go. And if it's still acting up, then you can turn it off in the app and wait for them to give you an update for whatever they just broke. But I've never had a problem with the pin to drive. There was one service I went in where they removed it. I don't think they did it on purpose, but it was gone. My friend Marianne, she had that on her Model X as well. Her pin to drive was just gone after a particular service. For both of us, this was years ago, so it could have been something else. I think there was one update where it came off as well. But that was a kind of a special update. They kind of went backwards, which they almost never do. Very rarely do they go backwards on the updates, and stuff like that is why. Another shared their pin woes. According to them, their car's 4-digit prompt was bypassed via phone app. Yes, that is also a possibility. So you want to make sure that if you truly are just giving your phone to random people, that you put a password or biometric on the Tesla app itself. Glitching in person, like what? That's why I unlock start the car via the app, but I'm not prompted. Oh, I see. They're trying to debunk the claims of the TikToker. Yeah, if you do it in a certain combination, it assumes it was you, and it just lets you in without extra friction. Yeah, that's the real question right there. Who gives their phone to a lot of people? Have you ever actually looked at Tesla Pin to Drive as an override using your Tesla credentials? Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't even need the phone to do it. You can do your password right there in the car. Like you say, forgot PIN, there's like a little link right at the bottom. And say forgot PIN, and you put in your whole password, which should be long and complicated because this is not just your whole car, your billing, everything. They've got your addresses. You don't want somebody to just be able to get in there at random. Anyway, so you log in with the Tesla app, your full-on password, and then the car will do it right there on the spot as well. You don't need the app to do it. The claims of being locked in forever are dubious. People complain about being broken, had an out. The smudge flaw is obviously to say. And 2025.20.3 fixed the start car via app. Oh, really? I haven't started the car via app since this year. let's go there. I would pull it up on screen, but it will dox me. Highlander, you got your hand up. You want to speak while I load the Tesla app real quick? All right, so it should be fine if I push this, because if you don't start the car within 2 minutes, it goes back off, and it's locked, and it's plugged in. So let's go to here's 112 controls. Start.
I had to leave and it knocked me down again.
Oh, they did.
I just wanted to say thanks to Miss Go Electric this morning.
Yeah.
She does a small weekly podcast.
There you go. Thanks, Miss Go Electric. All right, so it says I've got.
Kacey, can you hear me?
I hear you. Yeah, it says I've got 1 minute 48 on the start. But usually it doesn't ask me a pin.
No audio off of X.
Nothing. I hear you. Let me open up on my tablet, because this sounds like X is about to drop my phone, as we saw last time. So, oops. And sign in here. Samsung account. Open up X. Okay, BMW i3, still a good car to drive. It's pretty cool to hear, Kyle. Thank you. Look at me, and I'll see that I am broadcasting in purple. Join. Reconnect. All right, I'll unmute myself. All right, you should hear two of me, Highlander. And let me see if I can't do Bluetooth with this one here. Connecting. I was doing music share. I don't want that to come through the phone. That won't be helpful. Cannot connect. Oh. Maybe it can only have one Bluetooth connection at a time, or one of that type. So let's do this. Let's end the Bluetooth on the phone. And pick it up on the tablet. Connected for calls and audio. And it's music sharing via the phone still somehow, but whatever. All right, so we'll click here. I'll go back to X. And now X should be using the Bluetooth on the tablet. Is that working for you, Highlander?
You've got huge reverb if you can hear me.
Yep. Oh, I forgot to mute the phone. That's what happened. There we go. But yeah, like I said, you would be hearing two of me. Okay, let's ditch the keyboard for this tablet so I can find a place to put it here on this desk. And eventually, X will get their mess together, right? Maybe I need to get a tablet mount somewhere on this room for a tablet mount. Let's put it over here on this computer. Nope. Let's go here. It can be in portrait mode. It's like a giant phone, right? Oh, here we go. Actually, that's not so bad. We'll find an official place for it. All right, so it doesn't do this on TikTok. What do you expect? Oh, they had a. I wonder if they have new ownership. Is that what this guy's talking about here? Okay, so now we will look at their other article, and then we'll see if I want to change publications or if we're going to go back to talking about solar and disasters. I'll get this other fake sausage here. It's from a year ago. Why did it end up in my feed? although the GMs are still really good for towing. They've got giant batteries. The Rivian is still good, yeah. The Lightning is still good, yeah. The Triangle is okay for towing as well. Depends on how much you're towing if you're going to do the Model Y there. It's got a max of 3,500 pounds. You're saying the best for towing, I'm thinking 8,000 pounds and up, 5,000 pounds and up. Mine can only do 5,000. So this is only for U.S. vehicles? Unless they wanted to pull out some electric vans or something, then yeah. What do you have that can tow reasonable amounts? You know, a couple of metric tons over in Europe. You've got the Audi, the Mercedes EQ, not EQ, yeah, it's EQ, but the square one, the 1929, the Nazi-mobile, G-Wagon, the G-Wagon, and you've got Chinese semi-trucks. You've got the Tesla Model X again. You got the Volkswagen version of the Audi and the Porsche version of the Audi. There isn't that much that can tow big numbers on EV in Europe. Mine offhand. I could be being an American here, or I could be just super sleepy. But especially back when this article was written. An EV with a solid 300 miles of range for everyday driving could be a non-starter for a road trip with a trailer. It could, depending on where you're driving and what you're towing. Just a few years ago now, Lordstown was a new kid on the block. During a time of the specification wars, Lordstown was all in with my specs are better than your specs, until Lordstown got this great idea of retrofitting a truck to run the Baja 250 in 2021. It made 40 miles in the first leg of the race and was obviously the vehicle's street specs with a 135 kilowatt hour battery pack and around 400 watt hours a mile on asphalt. It was more like 2.1 kilowatt hours a mile to 2.4 off-road. So say for 125 miles of range in an off-road race, one would expect to need a battery pack of 205 kilowatt hours. So the GMs would actually do okay in this with their 212. And a gross battery pack of some 300 and 350 kilowatt hours. That's if you want to have a long life battery pack. Like, you can make it exactly 275 if that's what you need. Consideration that GM has apparently taken into account with the design of Silverado, said to be designed from the ground up. Ultium pack has something in the order of 2,800 pounds for the 24 module pack, something in the order of 2,350 for the 20 module pack. It's obviously getting superior battery chemistry in these packs reduce the pack weight to 14 to 1175 pounds is more worth than cruising in the short term for superior product long-term results. What? The range extender is dead. Interesting. So let's move on to the next one, because we're discussing people saying weird stuff on an old article. It's not. All right, so this person says they'd be terrified. Why? Because from everything I've seen, there's nothing scary about it. So this was on the 26th. Mustafa. Driver's ride may appeal to anyone who's had a frightening or uncomfortable experience with a taxi driver. All of my taxi rides have been fine on the driver's side of it. Zach Fieldstein posted a video from the backseat of a Tesla Robotaxi. His TikTok was another one of the TikToks. Huh? Offers a flood of comments for people who aren't ready to trust the Robotaxi with their lives. 2.4 million views. Safety in the wild. Right, tell us why the video is scary to people. As if an invisible person is driving the car. Okay. Same, but better, as the FSD driving me around with me sitting in the seat. Some joke that the driving is done remotely. We don't have the connections and technology for that right now. Unless they were doing it via, like digitally encrypted RF driving right behind you or something. Police area. Let's take a look. Let's see what's so scary about this. One video shows a robotaxi hesitating to make a left turn and the steering wheel glitching. Yeah, they really probably shouldn't make it flutter and stutter when it's trying to make up its mind. So mine does this thing where I don't know if it's reading the timing of the lights like we see on some of the Volkswagen Group vehicles, or if it is seeing the light change on the other side and anticipating its turn. But sometimes the light pattern doesn't match what it normally is set to for various reasons. And my car does this like it's like a nervous horse, like it's trying to creep forward. Sometimes it pulls all the way out into the street, not like it's gonna run the light, but like it's creeping. It's like, hey, I'm gonna throw you in reverse and pull you back because you're way too far out for comfort. It's only done that part twice, and those were really, really manually adjusted lights. I don't know if there was an event or if there was a repair, but basically they weren't set the way that they normally are. But it does do this chattery thing, and sometimes it does the wheel, but I can feel the brake pedal pulsing under my foot because it wants to go. But perhaps until it's time to actually do something, they should just hold the controls and not kind of prime them. But having them primed also aids the smoothness, so I get kind of why they do that. I also found out I was in the camera view this week, and I was looking to see. Oh, I know why. I was supercharging and bored because everybody was asleep, and I didn't want to check out the stuff I should have probably checked out. I was in the camera views again, and the pillar cameras, they can see a whole heck of a lot more than they used to show on the preview app. So on my Gen 3 with 2.5 delivery, it was 2.5 when I bought it. It's Gen 3 now. The pillar cameras can see 180. They can see straight out to the sides now. They didn't used to. I'm not saying that the cameras couldn't see it, but in the preview they didn't used to show that far out. It was kind of a crop, and so there's massive overlap straight to the sides with the repeater cameras and the ultra wide and the main. But the narrow is like a telescope. I don't know if it's like looking down the road to see if something's going on or what it uses narrow for. Well, it doesn't on the new cars. So the new cars don't have an narrow, do they? Because they got rid of one of the cameras on the. How do I turn off this? There. Screensaver came on the tablet. They got rid of one of the front-facing cameras on the newer ones, and then for a while they only had 7 exterior cameras. Then they finally brought back the front-facing camera for all their new cars. Started with the Cybertruck, and then hey, what's happening? Marcus is here. I was waiting on you so we could talk about solar and battery. I didn't want to tell your story. So here we were talking about some folks being scared. Oh, you where your headphones at?
Are we getting an echo?
I'm not getting an echo. Are you?
Hold on. Let's see. Hold on.
Now I hear something.
Man, you know. Man, you know.
Massive echo.
Yeah.
Hold on, this is on my part. Hold on. 1 second.
Okay. All right. So.
Oh, and I'm still not a co-host then.
Oh, I didn't put you back. Or you jumped out of something. Let's do invite, send, and then I'll turn down the phone. There we go. There you are. So why are they afraid of the robotaxi? I don't see any reason to be afraid. So let's take a look at this video. Another video surfaced of taxi making unexpected braking in the middle of the public road with no interference ahead. Mine has started coming to nearly a stop near this budget apartment complex near this building. And first couple times I thought like maybe it saw a kid jumping out or something. Now I'm just trying to figure out what it's flagging on. Because anytime we come by this place at nighttime, the car wants to come to a complete stop.
What about now?
Anytime we come by this place at nighttime, the car wants to come to echo stop. What about anytime we come by this place at nighttime, the car wants to come to echo stop. What about anytime we come by this place at nighttime, the car wants to come to echo stop. Anytime we come by this place at nighttime. Okay, there we go. Put some headphones on. And yeah, so let's take a look and see what this robotaxi did to scare these people. Okay, so he's on a nice. Okay, slow down for police. I mean, that could be a confusing situation. Get too many police spread out. I mean, that could be a confusing situation. And get too many spread out. I mean, and stop for a little bit more cops. Stop for a little bit. It doesn't scare me. It looks inconvenient, but doesn't scare me. You've also got the situation with the Texas police where they do that circle thing to manage traffic rather than having a bunch more cops because Texas is huge and salaries are expensive. They do this like swerve. Well, I think Atlanta does the swervy. Texas does the circles. They just drive circles all across to tell you don't pass me. I am controlling the space here. That would freak out the car as well. And it is in Texas, so maybe it's not sure why it keeps seeing police without any obvious pullover. And again, I'm not saying that was good, but I'm not saying that scares my life. I'm not scared for my life on, oh my goodness, the car is cautious around police. Come on, guys. Well, they can fix that. The fact that it came nearly to a stop twice on public roads is downright unsafe. Oh, I know why. My friend Ed. I haven't talked to him in a minute. We'll have to get him on here or go on a show where he is and have a little chat. But yeah, I mean that's his prerogative. If it's not more dialed in, he doesn't have to take a ride in it. I'm not gonna suggest that he is being a kook or something by saying that he is uncomfortable with that. I'm not saying it's ideal. I'm just saying it's not deathly scary either. If anybody hit that robotaxi with that many police around, they weren't paying attention to the road in the first place. And all convenient cop, right? They weren't paying attention to the road in the first place. And all convenient cop, right? They weren't paying attention to the road in the first place. And all convenient cop. All right.
I'll be right back. I think I know what to do. I'll be right back.
The reverb, lots of overtone.
What's the Highlander? Reverb? Yeah.
It's solar flare.
Let's see. So Inside EVs reported this week, NHTSA statement on Monday. Tesla claims all answers it provided the agencies after a round of safety-related questioning last month are confidential business information that could cause material harm to the automaker if made public. So that one is interesting because I don't think that's any different than Waymo and Uber and all the others have to do right now either. And yes, we would probably like to know that information, but they're all going to claim trade secrets if they can. So the only way to get around that is to not allow them to do that. But who's going to check them? LiDAR sensors versus cameras. I don't think this was that, because the LiDAR wouldn't even know that the police lights were on. So would you rather sail on past a policeman who's doing a pullover when most of the laws have a our friend James tells us it should be slow down and move over, but all of the states tend to phrase it as slow down or move over. Either one of those cases would not be followed by a car that can't see that photons are being emitted from the top of the lights there. So I don't know how LiDAR solves this, except for not being freaked out that there are cops there at all, because it doesn't know they're cops. Well, I guess it could know they're cops because it is able to read the decals that are stuck to the police car. It can see the level is different than the paint, but it doesn't know the lights are on. And if they hand painted the police car, which is rare, very rare, they wouldn't know the difference because well, it would all be one level of paint. This means robotaxis don't have LiDAR, so LiDAR emits pulses in all directions, which is useful for mapping the surroundings. Okay. It gives the vehicle a three-dimensional view of the driving field. You know what also gives you a three-dimensional view of the driving field? Having more than one camera. I have two of them right here. You can also do stuff like point clouds and other techniques. You don't need LiDAR for this. It is really fast at what it does, and it has an off-board processor. So I'm not saying it's not useful to have LiDAR. I'm just saying that LiDAR isn't the solution to this issue, because it would then have new issues, in addition to costing a lot more. Not as much as it used to, but a lot more. I'm curious what the comments are going to look like on this. Jumping in on LiDAR for some reason. They're right, this is a new writing crew, and I don't necessarily feel the love. Did they bring them from the gas car side of the house? Because it was Motor One, and the fact that they're still got the bad server, good server thing tells me that it's still Motor One. LiDAR solutions. LiDAR continues to work in mildly foggy environments. I don't know that I would necessarily see that. You can do things with the filtering on your optical cameras, and LiDAR still is an active photon situation, so it is disturbed by clouds and smoke and fog and mist as well. So depending on what system you have, it might have a different wavelength, or it might be able to better compensate. But as we saw with Mark Rober's situation, it is also subject to just losing track of what's going on because of too many particles. Let's see here. We've got using FSD for months. Oh, months. I've been using it for years. It's great, but there have been several times when if I hadn't taken control, there would have been a major accident. I've been driving FSD since the beginning, nearly the beginning, like a month later, because I wasn't one of the chosen few. And if I hadn't taken control, my car would have gone off a bridge multiple times. So yeah, no. Inside DVs can contact them via TikTok message. Tesla doesn't respond to messages from the media. We'll update this if they respond. So what's going on with this one? All right, so this one I still wouldn't be able to upgrade because you got two safety driver, or not safety driver, but what do you call it? Scary about this. Literally nothing happened. What? There was nothing scary in that clip. The article's embarrassing for.
KTX joined.
There we are. We got you on some earbuds.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Do you hear me?
Now, what it was, before I got on, I was getting ready.
Yeah.
I had you playing on my browser on my another. I was listening to you live. It was just.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
But you know how technology is, man. I don't really trust I don't touch my computer a lot because I'm always, handy in my iPad.
Yeah.
And it needs to update. When you turn on for that first, when you need it, it's like you got to update this and run a software test, and technology is, man. So.
Yeah.
So, sorry about that.
I've been there. In fact, I've done it where mine has locked me out, and I've had a funhouse mirror going on. So there's like 3 of me, and those are fun. So I'm not seeing anything in this article that corroborates why I should be afraid of the robotaxi. I mean, I did get a friend Niedermeyer there. He's choosing not to be in it. That's fine, but I don't see anything. There was that case where it was being too cautious around the police, but if somebody hit it in front of 8 policemen like that, what? That sounds like somebody else's problem to me. I mean, it's not like it slammed on the brakes. It was stopping in traffic, yes, but it wasn't abruptly stopping. Is that Mother Co? Let me move my breakfast before she takes it.
Hey, and it's another thing. I not being biased. It's just that that thing when they want to see something go wrong, or
yes,
let's just be real. At the end of the day,
like cheerleading a failure.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
There you go. Oh, this one. You want?
On Play-Doh.
You got an egg right there.
On Play-Doh.
Did you do stuff that gets you a Play-Doh prize?
Yeah, I pee.
She's getting big, man.
Normally you don't get a Play-Doh for peeing, but let's go. Hey, Makato. It's good to see you. You got your
look at her.
Yeah, look at that smile.
Yeah, you got.
And then it was the banging sound. It was
the banging sound.
Yeah, it was something.
But just now or last night?
Last night, moon up.
Last night when the moon was up. Yeah, I installed the radiator in the ceiling. Did you see it?
I hear something in your bedroom. It was
not in my bedroom. It was here in this office.
Wake up, and then I hear she talking. Again.
Well, the videos I had last night playing were men were talking about science and news and stuff. So you shouldn't have heard any women talking.
I want to.
Mommy got you a Play-Doh that I probably wouldn't have given you.
I want to pick one.
Hey, Casey, she enjoyed being a big sister now?
That's a good question. She's kind of off and on about it. Not very gentle. She's trying.
Yeah.
Marcus wants to know if you like being a big sister. She's more concerned about the Play-Doh. This one, she adores her sister right here. She comes in the room. She doesn't care anything about the parents. It's all smiles.
Hey, Casey, it won't let me. I'm trying to reply back in the chat. It just give me like a block, and when I type it, it won't let me send it. Is this something on my end?
Because all the replies would come back as if I said them, so it doesn't.
Got you. I got you.
Yeah, they really should just ask what your YouTube is and then reply as you.
What's that?
I said they should just ask you if it's okay to reply as you, and then get you to log in, and then it would be right there. Yeah. But it's been about how long have I been on here? 6 years. They haven't done it yet. So.
Oh, you're talking like I can go live with you on my YouTube?
Well, like they should ask you if you have a online, and then ask you if it's okay to log you all the way in, and then.
Oh yeah. You talking stream.
Yeah. This one is Talk Studio, but yeah, they should. They should, but they don't.
That's a good point. too much like right, you know.
Right. Well, it's probably not easy, but you know.
Yeah.
Little one's gonna put us all out of work soon. By the time she's 5, she's gonna.
Yeah, I'm doing it through my phone. I'm just trying something out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, like you were saying, these people are cheerleading failure, like a Schadenfreude or something. I want it to succeed, and I don't want anybody to hurt. And I find if other people can also succeed at their stuff, because this is going to save a lot of lives, because humans are terrible drivers, even the best of them.
It's true. Like I try to tell people, I was telling someone I was live a couple of weeks ago. I was at the racetrack. I was trying. My team wanted me to get some tests. I put some stress on my battery on smoke. They wanted me to put some. They wanted me to put some stress tests on. So basically, I ran a couple laps on the track at 60% just to get some data, see what kind of performance they're gonna do it at 60 or so. So I did that and then drove it. Did that and then preconditioned the battery, which is already hot. Preconditioned to go to the local Buc-ee's that have a supercharger. I thought they had the V4s, but they didn't. But anyway, so I drove it from the track to Buc-ee's, which is like about 15 minutes away. Yeah, and I charged back up to 90%, and then drove it back just to we was getting some data just to try something out. So, and I was pretty impressed.
Yeah. There's a movie about racing. I don't know if it's the Ford versus Ferrari or the other one. Name all of a sudden escapes me. I had that one first before Ford versus Ferrari. Where they asked this racer why he's not driving faster. He said, "There's no prize. I'm not getting paid. Why should I drive unsafely?" And and that one sticks with people about he's not in a race. Why should he drive like he is on the public roads?
Right.
They were pissed that he was just driving the speed limit, and she's like, "You go faster." And he's like, "No, why?" But he was also European, and I noticed that a lot of our European friends are less okay with the 1-ton speeding that we do here in the States.
They must drive faster over there, or can drive faster, maybe.
I'm not saying that they don't speed, but I'm guessing that whatever the percentage is not as nice as ours. By nice I mean like large, or perhaps they're looking at where these people are speeding. Like, hey, you're in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. Why don't you stick to 30?
Look, that's funny that you just said that, because weeks ago, during holiday time, I was picking up one of my kinfolk relatives from that was flying in from Chicago, and they flew in here. I was picking them up from the airport and so on because I had time. I didn't want to Uber them or whatever, so I went and picked them up. And then, on the way back, we got on the toll, doing our thing. But they was like, they surprised by me love the speed I love. I don't drive fast and stuff. I said, no. Right. It's a different. I like to have my good insurance, then I'm a safe driver out here, Then White Ghost is, I told him White Ghost is my baby. I just just take it easy with White Ghost. So
that's smart. That's very smart.
Yeah, I don't drive fast as well. But I like speed though.
I see your message, Tyler. Come on back in, and then I'll pop it back up. Yes, baby. Yes, baby. What's up? Food. You just ate. That's why you came back. You came back because you had your food. What are you spitting at me?
Hey, Kacey, have you got any more new gray hairs pop up that you see?
Oh yeah, I got like 2 right here, and then I got like another 8 in the beard. Yeah, it's funny to you. It's funny to you. You want to wear some headphones? Wear your sister's headphones? Marcus is here. He can talk to me.
She's like, I don't know him. Oh,
but maybe that's why she's crying, because she sees me.
Him.
Not letting her talk. Hi, Marcus.
Hey. Hey, cutie.
He's talking to you, Marcus. Okay, he's talking to you.
Hey, cutie.
Here.
Hi. Wow. I still got with my little baby, my grandbabies. They a little grown now. Well, they're older now, but look at hey. Look at her, she's so cute.
Yeah.
They grow up fast though, man. Boy, before you know it.
That's This will be talking back in another couple of months.
Man, you're gonna have them on. They're gonna be having their own podcast.
I hope so. That'd be fun.
Let's talk.
Yeah. So I don't see any reason to be afraid of this situation here. Let's go ahead and see
What have I missed though? Like, what's some of the stuff you had covered? You ain't gotta go like two, but just kind of what's some of the stuff you had covered before I jumped on?
we just talked about what we saw in the news. I noticed that the Green Car Reports website hasn't been updated since March, and then we had a couple of articles like the pin to drive, and then somebody was freaking out about pin to drive, and other people like it's a great idea, and then other people like, why are you giving your phone to that many people? Mm-hmm. So it was an interesting dynamic on that one, and this one here, I wanted to see what they were complaining about because I don't see, unless it was a service event and they were out of loaners, I don't see how this came to be. Then her door's locked. So let's see. Couple's Tesla stalled in the middle of a road trip. Stalled, really? I don't think a Tesla stalled because it's always in gear.
They said stalled, like
it is stalled. Initially locking them out of their vehicle. They managed to get inside, and they were met with a series of frustrating hurdles that left them fearing if they could even manage to get their car to a service center. You can always get towed to a service center. You just might not like the way they do it. They snatch it up there with the wheels dragging. Another TikToker explained some of it. Documented the hoops that she had to go through, which are they bricked on a road trip. I don't believe that. The last time I've heard of a bricked Tesla was the Roadster.
The Roadster. I was just going to say the Roadster.
Yeah. And then Highlander could tell us about that from his conversations with Mr. Gruber. You're thinking about getting a Tesla. Don't do what she says. You got a 13. I had a 16. I'm 7 years in on my 18. Let's see. She begins her video. Her partner seated inside the car. Video cuts to blank middle screen. Okay, so it's blank. Doors pop open. She complains about his inability to start. Fears they may have damaged the windows by opening the doors because the electronic mechanisms. You can get a locksmith to open the thing even if the battery is dead. And yes, there's a chance you could scratch the trim, or if you do it too aggressively, that you could crack the window. But it's still just a car on that particular aspect of it.
Correct.
And if you have a Model 3 or anything like that, you can apply. Well, especially any of the modern cars. And obviously she's got one of the modern ones because she's doing this complaint on TikTok like that. Just apply a 12-volt battery to the, or even 9-volt, to the override that's in the bumper. And it only works on the new cars. It only works if your battery is dead. That will pop the frunk so that you can then get a proper jump box onto the terminal, or the jump point and the terminal. And then you've got full power. Just give the car a minute to boot up and wake up and reassess itself. And then it's back to normal. You can't drive on 12 volts, but
exactly.
There's nothing to worry about here. People
that is correct.
Freaking out about nothing. I get that it's new and it's not what you expect, but if you don't know, then definitely don't, speak authoritatively. You could say I was fearful and it broke on me. This one broke on me, but you can't say they're all like this, and you can't say that it's a flaw if you didn't know the procedures.
Correct.
I read the manual on everything that comes to me, especially if it's going to take me a couple of weeks to get it. I have at least skimmed the whole manual before it comes through. I know that's a lost pastime. Damage the windows. It's literally not turning on. It sounds like it's turning on if it's opening the doors. Because we opened these, our windows are probably broken. No, they're not. And we're like probably 1,500 miles from home. Like, you don't know how far you are from home. And the closest Tesla dealership, well, there are no Tesla dealerships. Tesla store, service center, literally 3.5 hours away. Okay. At this point in the video, her partner chimes in to say that they'll need to travel 150 miles to get to the Tesla dealer. Continuing to break down the sequence of events that led to the refusal to start. Okay, here's what happened. We got back from dinner, and the doors wouldn't unlock. For one split second, the passenger side door unlocked, so I was able to get in. Well, it sounds like the door unlocked. But then we tried the touchscreen, touched the brake, nothing. And we couldn't even use the button to open the door. Yeah, her battery's dying. This is my first assessment on this, the 12-volt battery. Let's continue on.
I'm sorry.
say what car it is. I don't believe, but it sounds like a Model 3. And any of them, it should have been telling them for hours that their battery was not.
That's what I just finna say ahead of time. It's gonna let you know that, love, unless you ignore it. But yeah,
she's gonna skip the part that she ignored that for a week.
See, that's the part. See, that's why I make some of the videos I do, man, because I just want, misleading people.
Exactly. It's a Model 3. Well, but the misleading people you can use for clicks or whatever, I guess. But yeah, it's a Model 3. Look at the design of this. Let's go continue. We also called a roadside service center. It doesn't say the roadside service from Tesla. Not that they would do it if you're out of warranty, but at least they can give you a couple items before they tell you to go find a tow truck.
All right.
I don't have a high opinion of roadside outside of warranty, but it's because they're not empowered to do what they need to do. Tesla, I don't know if they contract them or what, but they just aren't able to answer any questions.
Well, yes and no on that. Reason why I say that because from over time now, and I don't know if it's just because we're awesome, but several months ago, like for example, I had to have roadside service for white goals. I was on my way to work on a toll, and I had a tire leak that was just, the tire was bad or whatever, something went wrong. And I had to have it towed. So when I was on a, dispatch and whatever, he asked what car it was, et cetera. So long story short, so the tow guy that picked me up, I made a video, it's on my channel. I made a little short on it, but he knew pretty much about the cars. So he kind of, because over time they train them. He said their company trained because they want to be. He told me, and I like when we were talking, you ride with them to, they told me to the house. They was telling me they want to be advanced for the future. Or know something. They know Tesla's all over now and they ain't going nowhere. Yeah. So that's a good way the company train them on it instead of just ignoring the fact or just, you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
They knew about it.
I had the one where they changed our motor out to one that doesn't leak inside itself and rust slowly. And then that new motor broke. And then Roadside didn't want to help me. They're like, you can wait till service opens and service can give you a tow. But then another time when our battery BMSs had corroded, the battery was fine, but the BMSs had rusted because I don't park inside and I have weather, and so as you heat up and cool down the air around the car and inside the battery pack, condensation can happen, and on those older units, some of the BMS boards weren't waterproofed enough that the condensation was enough to take them out. And so we'd supercharged it, heated up, and then it started to cool down, and that was it. It was the final little bit of rust. And then it said, it's not safe to go anywhere in this thing because I don't know it's not going to catch fire. And so it shut it down. So that time I called Roadside, and they started to give me the same spiel about, you're out of warranty, this, that, and the other thing. I was like, she's like, hold on, you got an old car. And then she looked at it and she's like, yeah, you got some time. And she pulled a tow truck from Georgia back to Georgia, and we were almost out of South Carolina. So, like I said, it's a mixed bag for me with Roadside. So I know they can, especially if you're in warranty. But if you're out of warranty, they seem to have their hands tied hard, which is like.
Hey, when you say that, for the people that's listening. So they'll have a better understanding. When you say theirs, that means that they mean calling that number that's on the Tesla, the one that's provided on the Tesla screen, or if you got it stored. Is that what you mean?
So. I got it stored from before I had my first one, so just call this.
Okay. Because like when I need roadside service for mine, I usually call, like I say, my insurance or my insurance provider. Do that.
And that's what I ended up doing when the first one was saying that it's on the service center, but the service center was closed. So I was like, fine, I'll call mine. And I stashed it at my sister's house. Then I called service, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, we're so sorry. We left you on the side of the road, blah blah blah," and then they picked it up from there and fixed it. But my advice to them was, rather than leaving somebody on the side of the road saying, "Here's a list of people you can already call on your own," they should say, "Hey, if this turns out not to be covered by service, you're out of warranty. You could be on the hook for however much the quote was, and come get you. Is that okay?" And then versus saying, "Nah, here's a list. Have a good night."
Yeah,
and I don't know if that registered or what, but like I said, that next time I needed them, it was better. And And actually, that wasn't the next time I needed them right away. That was the next 2 times I needed them were better. So that same time I went to go pick up the loaner car on that same trip after I'd done the complaining was I'd arrived after service had closed, and normally you can unlock it with your app and all that stuff because they already had me fully set up for it. But because I hadn't yet taken possession of the car, what I didn't know was I had actually arrived not just after service had closed, but I'd arrived during an hour that the service that the app was down. They don't have these app outages all the time anymore, but it was like a partial outage, and so like it I called the guy up and he's like, "Yeah, I can't get in the car." He's like, "How'd you lock yourself out?" I said, "Well, actually, I didn't actually get in it yet." He said, "Oh, okay." And he unlocked it after he had me prove who I was. He unlocked it, and then I was able to find where they put the key card. It was not where I expected it, and grabbed the key card. Well, because for me, they usually use a handful of spaces, and it was not in those handful of spaces. It was someplace entirely different. And so I grabbed the key card, and then I tried to add it to the app, and that didn't work. And then come to find out that there was an outage after we'd driven some ways and stopped to get a dinner. And then I tried one more time, and it worked. And then I saw like it was on X. There was a flash about, "Hey, is your app back?" "Mine's back." Like, "Oh, well, it would be nice to know the app was out." But it was like only a partial outage because mine was working for tracking down both cars and seeing them, but not for controlling the loaner car. But Roadside helped me with that. They're like, "Yeah, you're locked out." Click. So this hit or miss for me with them. But so she said we got back from the diner, the doors open. Blah, blah, blah. For a second, we thought there was a fire burning. A fire burning? What?
Oh my God, they're being dramatic now. Okay, I'm sorry.
Where did you park your car that you think it's on fire?
See, they want the, you know how people do to go viral and that good stuff.
We smell burning plastic. Okay. Getting the vehicle towed out to be an ordeal as well. The tow truck company doesn't want to tow us because it's too far. Yeah, they do that with gas cars too. 224 miles of driving. Yeah. But that they'll do it. They'll do it. They like money. It's a matter of if your insurance company won't pay them to do it. They're not really interested in working for free, especially with all the gas costs. You know, diesel. You don't like it when people tell lies? Yeah, we don't like when people tell lies either. That's right. All right, so she and her partner provided an update on the situation. In a second clip, they were able to find a towing company to get their car. Well, that'd be another one. If it's out of his range, or if it's time for him to go home and eat dinner, he might also not want to go deal with it. That's one thing. You know, as you're selling cars, you see a lot of people get divorced in the car sales because you get that last minute sale come in, and then the spouses get upset that it feels like they're getting put on the back burner all the time. Mm-hmm. Even though they're providing for the family, it's just it doesn't feel right because like, oh, hey, I thought you'd be home an hour ago, but yeah, it took 3 hours to close the sale. They came in right before close. You see a little bit of it in the restaurant industry at the restaurants that don't know how to tell people kitchen's closed. You guys know what I'm talking about there. If you've been in one of those restaurants, kitchen's closed. No. Oh man, shucks, I missed it. Or you come in and hey, they're turning off the lights, cleaning around. You're like, why didn't you tell me you were about to close? I would have just got it to go. Oh well, we blah, 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 blah. No, you tell me it's time to close, and I understand. Got me here looking like a jerk, keeping these people from their family for an extra hour, right?
Yeah. I feel bad. I don't do it. Like I said, if they about to call me, oh sorry, or if they be like, oh no, don't worry, Right. I just don't like to be that person. I ain't gonna lie.
Right. The one that happened to me was they had changed their hours or it was like a one time something or other, and they didn't update correctly, and I was like, well, still just tell me, and I get the hints, but if you had told me in the beginning, I would have just ordered to go in the first place, and if the kitchen wasn't closed yet, it would have been so much easier than having people just.
Then I'd be like, it's kind of on them in a way, because like if you're looking online or Google and they say it closes at 10:30,
right. They don't have the little sign on the door, day tonight, closing early. Yeah. So let's see. Another reason I wouldn't start. Text overlay in the clip hypothesizes the culprit could be the 12-volt battery. Yeah. We clocked that right away, didn't we, Marcus?
Yeah, automatically. The first time you started spraying some of the problems,
Yeah.
But like I say, it's probably on that screen. They probably ain't paying attention or just overlooking. Because I know some Tesla owners out here in Austin alone. They just ignore certain things. It'd be right there in their face, you know.
Right. I mean, like I would not start a trip with a warning about the 12-volt battery. I would secure a battery either somewhere along the trip or I would make sure it was fixed before starting the trip personally. Unless it was like that morning, it's like, oh, we gotta go. All right, let me call ahead and find somebody who's got one along the way because it's just turned on. But if it had been on for a week, I'm not going on a road trip. I might not even be going to work.
And that's plenty enough time warning,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for you to ignore it. And
yeah, because the only time that 12-volt can go without some sort of warning is if you have like a catastrophic failure, like the 12-volt springs a hole, or some system happens to go down that charges the 12 volts, the DC to DC, or but then you'll notice that you've run over a manhole cover or something, and and then you get a quick death of the 12-volt. All right, so the first possibility is one that several drivers have tested other EVs experienced 12-volt battery. Yep, yeah, we all clock that. Unable to open the doors, has windows rolled down by themselves because the battery is low. Okay, yeah, stranded for the night. That again, if it was a 12-volt, it's definitely a personal problem. The issue was in fact linked to their 12-volt battery. Boom, called it. All that drama for what? Clicks. Tesla representative instructed them to get the battery replaced as soon as possible. Yeah, it's not just any 12-volt battery, but it is a rather standard 12-volt battery. They'll ship it to you. But this is why I went for the lithium with the Bluetooth, so I can track what's going on with it. Of course, I've got a lead in there right now because Tesla tried to throw away my 12-volt because they let it die.
Yeah,
and then they tried to throw it away because it wouldn't start. Yeah, you got me by the ear, baby, and that's not really good to eat.
I'm just still trying to figure out where the burn smell come at, like whether
right.
the burn smell come at.
Probably the person next to them lit up a cigarette or something. Let's see. The partner says he still has faith in the car. Yeah, it's like once you find out that it was a matter of you ignore the battery warning for a week, why would you blame the car for that? Plus, what gas car even gives you a warning that the battery is about to die? I mean, you might notice it's hard to crank, but if you're not paying enough attention, you don't see that, and then it just leaves you in the parking lot. Only benefit there is most of them use a off the shelf battery and not a one that you got to go hunt down. But if you're in a place with a lot of Teslas, then even the local like auto parts store might have the Tesla battery in stock. What's up, baby?
You gonna make me, when I get off here, I'm gonna call just to see now. You got me interested about that. I never thought about that as far as like a local store. I know it's a couple battery places in here, but like parts store, that's something interesting. I think they'll be losing out if they don't get into it. You know, like I told you, I explained to you a little bit last night about my mechanic. You know,
yeah, exactly. Your mechanic.
He's scared to work on EVs and just like stop being like that. You know, come on, we gonna, you know.
More milk? Did you not finish? You were playing? Is that what? Mommy thought you were done? Mommy thought you were done, but you really weren't?
She gonna be the spoilest one of us, I see.
I don't think so. Not, at least not yet. I think she's the other one, yeah. Her name is Mommy, not Milk. But here she is. All right. Have fun, baby. Don't tell her you're done before you're done. She's gonna stop, and then you're gonna be like, I'm hungry again.
I gotta start using that green screen, man. I gotta try something different. The green screen.
It's pretty fun. Let's see. Yeah, AutoZone is starting to get into it. That's right, Highlander. Just a matter of if they have a market, a good businessman is gonna go after. Just like I was saying about your mechanic. If he wants to, slide into retirement and be able to either give the business to his children or sell it, say, hey, we're steady, versus, scrounging for that last customer as he's trying to get his retirement together. I mean, learn a little bit of EVs.
And then, like I say, out here, there's plenty of here in Austin, there's plenty of out of warranty Teslas, man.
Exactly.
They would love to have somebody that work on them other than taking to the dealership. I mean, service center. I'm saying dealership because earlier that I ain't said that in so long, but service center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because not everybody gets the primo service after they're out of warranty, and because it costs a lot. And so, like in your area, there's a lot of out of warranty. And then you've got other brands, and there's stuff that translates between them. So I would start with Tesla if you were not yet into, if you're in servicing of cars, and you're not yet into a particular one. I would start with Tesla just because there's more of them, because you chance to use what you learned. But I would definitely also, if you're independent, I would definitely branch out as well so you can service anything. So you don't have a Volkswagen show up and say, "Oh, I don't know how to do that. Their system is different." It's an electric car. I'm not afraid. Here's my toolbox. I'm ready.
Hey, can I tell you right quick, and I'm gonna let you go on to the next. I tell people, I use this scenario on different situations a lot. I tell them, I say, you remember BlackBerry?
Yeah,
said,
exactly.
And then I say, you say, look at iPhone. You see what happened? BlackBerry didn't want to get with it. Now look at this iPhone Android, so he's like, you got a point.
Android did with it because they were just a cheap BlackBerry when they started. No touchscreen, none of that. And where are they now? It's a toss up. Like, do you want Apple or not Apple? And then other than that, they feel the same.
Yeah.
But then look what happened to BlackBerry. They're a brand name now, basically.
Get with the program.
Yep. And a back end OS for like cars and stuff. So Tesla rep warned about extra power consumption. The vehicle depleted faster than usual. Made it service 10 minutes before closing. Swapped out 12-volt battery, cost $160. That's pretty cool right there. Oftentimes these batteries for regular cars can be up to $300, and Tesla is often. I like that their parts pricing is reasonable. Like I almost accidentally got charged for my dimming mirror in the S, and it was $30 or $50. On my Toyota, it was $299 for my.
Yes.
Yeah,
I had to go buy for my pickup, for my pickup truck to pick up my trailer. Yeah. Several months ago, I had to go get a new battery replacement. Looked up at all them batteries is like, because I ain't been in a while, and them batteries are like high, almost $300 some for a battery now. Like that is crazy.
Just a regular gas car. All it does is crank the engine. It's like, why?
Yes.
But so I mean, I've seen mine creep up that way, but when it did, every battery was even more expensive. Then it comes back down because I think the way that they have the parts pricing set is just, I mean, there's a markup, but it's just that markup. They're not looking to make a profit out of service, and that's always been their philosophy. As Musk said, I shouldn't be getting rich on not having built it right in the first place. So I'm glad to see they kept that through all the years. Correction on June 26th. An earlier version of the story mistakenly said the Tesla Model 3's battery located under the rear seat. The DC-to-DC is there. It's actually located under the hood, even though it's recommended you disconnect the low voltage connector when replacing it, which is under the rear seat. That's true. How badly did the commenters rip this apart? Clear case of FUD. Yep. So don't they believe? I'd wager that they don't need to pay. Oh, sorry. She must have had an annoying tone or something with that comment. Wager they were paid Tesla. Some people have problems with the cars. Maybe after you stop 3 months because of full dive while picking up the kids. So you might have been in a country. Oh no, it could be in this country too. There was a while why the batteries were just so out of stock. Some shops had like a lot of them. You could just walk in and get it done, and others you had to wait a month for them to get one shipped from wherever the supplier was direct to the store to you.
What's that? The 12 volts?
Yeah, 12 volts. I remember when that happened.
Back in the day. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
Back when Moto was born. Yeah, because it was 12 volt batteries for Teslas, and a bunch of other car parts for other people, and then formula and human milk were in short supply. Moto went for like 3 days with no food because she had to wait for the milk to come in, and there was no formula. And on the discharge, they snuck us a little bit of the donated milk, just like 2 vials, because that was all they could sneak. Not that there was that much to begin with,
Right.
That child had a rough start.
You may hear a little beat. It's like a tap tap noise.
Yeah.
Man, I just found woke up this morning to alert that we got this smart, I'm a gadget guy, like to the foot, but anyway, I got a smart smoke detector in the carbon monoxide in the main entry, and it's about time for it to be replaced. It says it's 10 years. I'm like, man, I didn't realize I had it this long, but yeah.
Oh, he wants to get a new sensor altogether. Yeah.
Yeah, it's telling you September the 1st, that's when it's time. Definitely time is up. So it keep beeping until I reset it to let me know. Just give me a warning. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. The ones here, I have the old Nest Protect back before Google bought them, and Google shut it down altogether. 10 years as well. But they, instead of going off in the middle of the night, when you turn off the lights, they do one last check, and they'll go yellow if they're not going to make it through the night. So or if there's a problem in general, they'll go yellow. And then obviously if it's red or whatever, then it's much more urgent.
That's the one I got, but I don't know if it's a setting I got on there that is allowed to, because at least till you acknowledge it, I think, because I looked at it on the app. Well, I looked at it on the app this morning.
Yeah,
I looked at it, but then I got a phone call, so I got sidetracked. I didn't mess with it. So, but then I just thought about when I sat down with you, because I'm hearing it now, and I'm like, I'm hearing. I don't know, because this mic probably can pick it up good. I'm in my computer with the dope flow, but I still can hear it.
Well, I'm disappointed to hear that it has the old school mode there. I
got to replace it anyway, so
it should be in the app. But also with that though is now that Google's decided they don't want to be in that business anymore. They're like, go over to Kitty or First Protect or whoever, and everybody's like, it looks the same, but it's not even close to the functionality. I'm like, I don't want that. So now we gotta. They long ago you could wave at it and it would get rid of the smoke alarm in the kitchen, but that was
so like when it's going off. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
yeah.
They got rid of that pretty quick because I guess kids were waving at it or something.
Yeah,
and that was gone. So if you find any and you can still enroll them in the app, I'd get them before Google completely cancels it. But they're not making any new ones.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing. Oh, I just lost my main screen, which took the camera with it. Oh, camera's back. Back. I don't know why it does this. It's got power. It's not overheating. What's up, Lee? Happy Sunday. Good to see you. That's right. So let's see. Oh my goodness, the 12-volt battery died and replaced it 10 minutes and charged 160. Is her name Karen? Nelson says they should replace it sooner. To be fair, it wasn't 10 minutes. They were stranded overnight and required an expensive tow. They didn't require that. That's what it took to get there after they had ignored it. I thought it was something more serious in the title, but it's just a 12-volt battery and traumatized it for TikTok. Imagine the hidden comments are much meaner to her. Let's go to this last one we pulled out, and then we'll just talk about the weather and batteries because it is topical right now. Let's see. The EV tax credit is dead. Here's why I still have hope. And this was on the 3rd, I said? At 3. That would have been after he got done on his desk, right? Solemn day. They passed the thing. Killing 7,500, but what day? September or December 31st? That's what I wanted to know. Oh no, the Senate won on that. So yes, it is definitely at the end of September instead of at the end of December because the mandate for EVs. There is no freaking mandate.
That's wild.
Yeah, so if you're in the market and the 7,500 would be nice to have or needed to make it happen, you've got 2 months. Because people are hateful. Sorry. But yeah, gas and oil subsidies will continue. You know it. Yeah, it's too late to stop it. But now there is a real risk that they're just handing it over to the Chinese at this point. And that was their biggest fear, is the Chinese entering the market. Well, if they're the only ones who can do it cheaply without the without the tax credit, you've just given it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Tesla can get around it a little bit, but if none of the other, like, it got to the point where the dealers, same people say we don't want electric, this, that, and the other. They were like, hey, don't kill that. We need that. That's money. That's free money to our customers. We need it. So if you got the dealers on your side on this thing, then that tells you that, not that you're doing anything wrong, but it tells you that that you've swung too far. If the dealers are telling you you've swung too far, because they still won't, first choice sell you an electric, but if they're telling you to make it so they can't sell electric, or they can't sell any car, then you're messed up. What happened to the solar? Yeah, we're gonna talk about solar in just a moment. Lee Moon's in? No, that's a different Lee. What happened to solar? We're gonna talk about solar. Chinese are coming. Why they're switching to non-automotive for your profession? That's pretty smart right there, because whatever they build here, you're still gonna be able to do what you do. It's gonna be in demand, especially with your attention to detail and all that, and all the user experience. You need to check. So whoever's here, you're going to service them, and they're going to call you because what you know. But yeah, automotive is about to shake up even more because of this. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. Obviously, they're thinking oil and gas. Give me some more oil and gas money, but that's not going to go on forever. When Saudi Arabia is looking to divest from gas, there's your sign. I mean, their goal for going EV was 2050, whereas everybody else was 2040 and 2035 and 2030. Norway moved all of those up to the point where it's like they're already there. They're like 99% electric now. But when Saudi Arabia is telling you 20 years at the most, that's not a good retirement strategy. I know that if you're 80, you think you're going to retire or whatever, but if you're talking about your constituents and stuff, you need to actually look at what your constituents, because coal and oil is not it.
Correct.
Plus, we need that. We need that stuff for feedstock for plastics and fertilizers. And if we just keep burning it up, it's not there for us to use it. I mean, we're going to need it for other stuff. So September, that's disappointing. Move to affordably power electric grid by developing nuclear power. But the problem with nuclear power is that it's not affordable. We have got so many regs and stuff on it that it is more expensive than it actually is. Yeah, it costs prohibitive power, exactly. Solar batteries are cheap, yeah. We've got Don Quixote in charge, but the windmills really do work. As much as he wants to tilt at them. So this is a perfect opportunity to lean into what we're going to talk about today. We were going to talk about the having solar and battery backup as we approach hurricane season. We're in it now. As we have more and more large repeating natural disasters year after year. You have 100-year flood, you have the 100-year drought, all this, like each year we're having a bigger and bigger one. Having your own ability to keep going, even if it's not enough to go all, but if you can kind of just stretch it out a little bit, it helps. So like if you've got solar and a battery system, you can keep the fridge going, so you're not having to have unsafe food. You can you don't have to rebuy all the food. Say you went to the grocery store and then all of a sudden you have a surprise storm hits. Well, now power's out and you just bought all your food. Yeah, if you have renter's insurance, you can just call them up and they'll give you a reimbursement to go get more. But now that's a claim on your insurance. You can even do that on your homeowner's insurance, but that's not a good move on your homeowner's insurance, because you have a deductible that should be way higher than that, and then again, that's a claim on your house. So that's with the batteries and the solar. You can have just the batteries and they'll smooth it over. But the beauty is having the solar to recharge that. So that way you can go for days on end, weeks on end. If you don't have a whole house system, you'll need to get to the point where, yes, you'll have to pick and choose. You'll have to start turning stuff off and conserve. But like when Marcus and I bought in, it was a lot more expensive, and the panels were a lot smaller. Like my house has got 280s on it, and I've only got 250s for the micros. But today, that same panel would be like 450, 500, and I probably would go with something like the Powerwall 3, so I wouldn't need a separate inverter. But I could go with a separate inverter, or I could go with bigger micros if I was going to stay with Enphase. And for the same price, I would be completely self-sufficient. And up to the law, they'd probably have to detune it because the law here is not the law, but the I guess it's practically the monopoly of the power company. You can only pick one. You can only go like 90%. So they'd probably have to detune me or something. But it's not as scary or as complicated. I wouldn't necessarily go with the people who are going around knocking on your door about it. I'd go do my own research and then pick a provider who's competent and has good reviews. Local if possible. That helps. What prompted me on this, Marcus has a video you can drop in there, where he was talking about an update on his solar and his Tesla Powerwalls. It was the point where you had you turned off your lights because the neighbors were like looking at you. Mine always happens when the lights are on and I forget and I leave them on. And it's like, oh man, I feel like a jerk. I look outside, it's dark.
Oh bad, man.
Yeah. And mine's not even a whole house system. It doesn't do the girls' room, and it doesn't do the air conditioner, heater, or the oven. But it used to do the furnace, but we don't have a gas furnace anymore. We have a heat pump, so it doesn't do that. And it's only 30 amps per leg, so it doesn't do the oven because the oven is 50 amps. And
too much. Take it out right there. Take that out alone.
Yeah. And then the same situation with the air conditioner was a 40 amps, so it was too much. I did try to see how it would behave, but it was too much startup draw on the old air conditioner, so it wasn't worth trying a soft start. This new one might be, but it's already in. There's no need to go reconfigure it because the important part is the fridge stays running, the computers are staying running, so I can keep working. And all the equipment stays up, so any of our medical needs that have electricity are covered. And yeah, you're gonna get hot, you're gonna get cold, but you got blankets, you got fans. If this was a forever house for us, not a rental, I would actually continue on, go ahead and switch it to Powerwall or switch it to whole house battery. If I didn't go Tesla on it, but even this is going to be good for my tenants when the next one comes in because you've already got your Tesla charger, which works on everything now because everybody's going NACS. You've got your solar, so your bills are like next to nothing. And then you've got the battery, so that when the power does go out, which it does a couple times a month, and then definitely during disasters, you've got this. I don't know if I'm going to take the batteries with me and to leave the connection, or if I'm going to leave a battery here or not. Gake's afraid that somebody will either just straight up steal it or they'll swap it for one that's had a rougher life. And so if it's swapped, I'd be quite upset.
Follow your first mind. Right,
exactly. So they have a plug they can use, and they've got the solar coming in, so they can deal with it at a minimum. And then the solar, is bolted to the roof. So if anybody's stealing that, then somebody will see it.
Wow.
If they don't get zapped first, because it's anybody doing that is not thinking straight.
Yeah,
they will not have taken precautions. So you want to tell us about your experience with the power walls and the solar and how yours is whole house, right? It's not just critical circuits.
Correct. So First off, like I tell people, I don't do the door-to-door people that knocking on the doors. For example, I got a neighbor. Once a lot of people know me, my neighbor. They know I'm that techie guy. They know I'm that Tesla man. They ask me questions. But she said she didn't want to bother me, which I told her anytime they got my number, they can always, etc. But she ended up getting manipulated by somebody, them door-to-door salesmen on solar panels. She saw me have them, but they gather. So one thing you don't want to deal with. Not saying all like that. Everybody's different, but what I did was first thing I did was I touched out to 3 companies, my local companies, and got a quote for 3 different ones and see how they handled it. Like 2 of them, we met up, they came out, they observed my light bill. They see, they looked at how we conserve and how we use energy and so on. So, they kind of determined out there what, and then depending on where my house was facing, how, when the sun rises in the east and, sets in the west, etc. They was doing their job, they did a thorough, and then whoever gave me the best price and so on, who was taking, giving the best deals at the time. So I went with one that was well known and big, number 1 company out here, etc.
So you went with a Tesla installer, not Tesla themselves.
Yeah, I went with a installer, right? Because I think I went through Tesla, but they were so at that time they
didn't want to do it.
They were taking so long. It was like so long, and I'm the type of person. I want to get something done. Sometimes I want to get in and get out the way, or at least get on the books and get. That's just me. I'm. But I didn't actually go through Tesla's website or anything. I tried at one point, but it didn't work out. So, like I said, I touched out there. But the company I went with, like Well Solar out here in Austin, they're Tesla's authorized dealer, etc. They sell the product of Tesla, etc.
I actually recommend a Tesla installer over Tesla for now. Pretty much ever since they bought it, Tesla has kind of been second burner to them on the actual home installs and business installs. With an installer, that's their business, and they have reason to keep you happy. And you can pick up a phone and there's somebody there. You don't have to use the app. Not that the app is bad, but it's just a matter of I don't know if what the stories I'm hearing are typical or if they're just used to a little more hand-holding. And then I look over at my solar installer and I know if I call him and he says he'll be there by Thursday, he'll be there by Thursday and not passing me off unless, there's a hurricane coming on Thursday. Sorry, how about Monday? And that would be pretty much the only time I expect something like that to happen. Or somebody's gone without power or somebody's house is having a situation. It would be emergent before he or one of his crew doesn't come by when they say they are. Versus
right.
And I know we're only going to hear the complainers from the Tesla side of it, and there's a lot more customers. But at the moment, I just feel more comfortable with an installer of the Tesla product because you don't have that risk.
And the other thing, I went with this company because this is what they expect. This is what they do. This is they're a solo company. This is what they do, etc. They got good reviews. Because I did have a couple years ago, I did have one problem at one time. I would say, I think something happened. Either I think they had the inverter went bad, or something they had to update it to a newer one or whatever. But anyway, they brought you. They were like, well, we get you. Are you available? Because at that time I worked nights or whatever. So they were like, are you available for Tuesday, whatever? I said, yeah, man. Tuesday was in. They actually came. They called and said, Miss Campbell, such and such is gonna be a little early. That's cool. I said, yeah, come on. And things like that, And it was a warranty fix and so on. So I like to, I'll be able to call somebody and get something fixed, especially if it's gonna, I spent my hard-earned money or whatever the case may be. But
yeah, and it's not that I don't think that the Tesla Energy won't take care of you or anything, but when I know this other option is currently better all around, I'm more comfortable saying that I want you to go to the thing that you sent me here, and these people I'm on the list of the people who are complaining. Well, I'm sorry. Versus, hey, I know you're gonna have a good experience. I know the product is good, and I know that the other people, that's their business is to make it have a good time. So you combine the good product and the good customer service guaranteed versus I don't know what's happening on that other one for the customer service, why some of these people are complaining, and I can't verify and say, oh, well, these people wanted a 3-minute response time, or they're being completely reasonable and it was a month for something that should have taken 3 days. I can't say. So that's why I'm saying get the good product and then go with somebody who's got skin in the game, because if they see you at the grocery store, you're like, hey, why my solar's still broken?
You're right.
They don't want that. So, they're going to treat you right.
But yeah, so like I said, we went with them, man. I did, I'm a numbers guy, and it was perfect. Like I said, from the energy we use, and then like I said, my community out here, my subdivision where we stay at, we moved ahead in 17, and when it was a fairly new subdivision that they built out, and they was building out here. We actually all electric. We don't have no gas, like gas things, etc. Which I kind of was like, ugh, at first, but then I'm like, no, I see why now, which I'm glad, because
especially if you found out that the gas stoves put all that poison in the air even when they're off. Yeah, like a brand new unit you've never turned on is still putting out the stuff in your house.
Hey, like I said, the thing what they call silent. You got carbon monoxide. I used to hear coming up. I used to hear stories about that. It's just like carbon monoxide. You got a protector, and just sometimes that stuff just slowly. Then I see some news right to the day. Some places, some buildings, some houses just explode and stuff. Sometimes from gas leaks and so on.
Yeah, the old gas station in what was it? Rome gas station exploded. There was a gas leak, or they suspect it was a gas leak, methane leak, and
so we all electric, man. We got everything electric out here. So anyway, I did my, we did did my homework on some numbers and seeing what they was talking with the tax credits and etc. And it just made sense to do. I started off. I kind of started off small as far as panels, but then as I saw and then then I went on a. I spent out with more panels. I'm up to like 54 panels. The only thing I didn't do at the time is get a third power wall. I got two. Yeah. I would like the third one because, of course, you can go a little longer with you could from experience, but I'm still cool. I think I tried to buy. I was gonna buy one of yours at one point or something. Yeah. But I love our light bill. Like I said, and then also too, we did the homework on the company. Like you said, even like farther in Austin, certain companies don't allow you to do off the grid or give you. Thank God, our company we have revert metering. So I like I said, you go look at my video. I'll show you with the app how even charging my cars, running the AC, things like that in the daytime, we off the grid. We're actually putting back. We actually put because the power walls top off at 100% in the day. They're good. So they're good. At nighttime, our houses run off the power walls up until I think I got it set to 15% for reserve, just in case something completely happened. Yeah. But that was the best way. That was the best thing I did. Like I said, man, I like it. It's always good, especially out here in Texas, running AC. All
Oh yes.
Negative $16 light bill, negative $20, negative 10, 16. It depends. But it's always negative because we putting back. And like I said, a couple years ago, we had that storm out here.
Yeah,
I got a video on my YouTube as well on that. Like we had a little peak of sun come out, which was pretty cool. A little peak of sun coming, so that way. We was providing it was topping the power walls back off, which is good. Yeah. And then it topped them off, but then we still had the excess. It was actually going back to the meter. So it's like we look at it like we helping our neighbors out. That's even though the grid was down, it was down for a couple of hours or whatever because we had that bad ice storm. Yeah. And I did a video about that showing like look, whole neighborhood off. We got power all around. Like I said, ours do the whole home as well. I just don't charge a car or anything like that if that was the case.
Yeah, because
unless I need for emergency or something like that. So, knock on wood. Hope we don't get to that point. Have to do, but you always gotta be ready instead of not. What they say, needing. What they say, needing, not having it, or want something like that saying.
You don't want you want to have it and not need it, and need it and not have it.
And now, yeah. Especially,
but you brought up a good point there about the tax credit that's going away in September. So if you need it for your house, again, same situation. You need it, get on the books before 2 months from now, because that is a lot more than what you get on the car.
And that's been a big help, though.
Yeah, and then you also touched on a very critical point right there at the beginning of it. Do your energy audit before you buy your equipment, because every watt that you save is a watt that you don't have to put on the roof, and that watt is not 1-to-1. You got to put more on the roof because the sun goes down. So you got to be able to put it in the battery, and then you got to have enough batteries to hold it. So that hits you 3 times really. So if you can save it in the beginning, that helps. Or at the very least, get what you can bring it down to from your audit.
Correct.
So say you need 20 kilowatt hours a day for us. Say you need, you need that. Make sure you have enough panels to do it, enough batteries to hold it. But if you know that also, hey, we need to change the windows and we need to update this thing and do that, then maybe you can get, I need 20 today, but we can get by with 15 or 18, and the projections look solid for this. Then do 16. Yeah, and then they'll save you a little bit. Yeah.
Right. Or you don't want to overbuy or underbuy and things like that too.
Yeah, the county next to this building there, my installer was telling me how he had to put on when he installs the Tesla systems, he puts them on a I forget what he called it, but it's no export. So it'll feed back to the grid and it'll draw and everything, but the minute it gets to whatever their level is for the month, it stops. Because in that county they don't actually have a power company. They have a co-op, but the co-op's rule is, because of the way that their purchase agreement set up, that if you give them power, they will charge you for that power as if you used it. Even though they're able to then go and sell that power to your neighbor, it also means that they now have a surplus that they have to figure out what to do with, because they whatever they're doing, they're buying in blocks. So they have an extra block. So they're going to charge you for having to get rid of that extra power that they had planned to give you. So he has it set to just,
good point.
You use a kilowatt hour, it'll feed back a kilowatt hour, and then when it gets a kilowatt hour, it just stops.
Right.
That way they don't give you that bill for giving them power. Because they can't make you use it, but if you give them extra, you've got an administrative deal to have to deal with, so they will charge you as if you used it. So he's like, "Yeah, I'll help you out with that." Oh, and you're not allowed to disconnect over there, so
make sure you're on the right rate too. Like I said, we on what they call a buyback rate. You know,
yeah, the right rate too. Yeah,
on a good rate, so it's pretty fair. You know, like I said, it's been a good experience for us, man. You know, and I'm just speaking for me now. I know some people back in the day they used to like solar panels on top of the house to make it look. I think it looked cute. You know, I like it. You know,
I like the I mean, Elon was talking about that mess about, oh, you're gonna go look at a house just because of the other roof on it. I was like, yeah, that's bogus. And then in Maryland, I actually went and go look at a house because it had the solar roof on it. I was like, oh, let me turn back around, look at this thing.
Now we did. Now, another thing when I was looking too, I did at one point. It caught my interest to look at the Tesla solar roof. But like I said, only problem with that was our house was fairly new. It didn't make sense because you can't, like, we had our house built. We customized, of course, but buying a home is, you can't do nothing past the construction contractors and constructors and stuff. Unless we're gonna buy the house out front, drop that check for the whole house up front, then it's yours. You can do whatever you want, but that wasn't the case, unfortunately. But I wanted to do solar roof, but then after we had built, it wouldn't make sense to rip that roof off and then do spend that much money. That was just, our roof was fairly new still, it's a new home. That
was a problem with them for a while, so they got that up to the installers, because the home company won't let anybody else touch the roof because they don't want to be involved in it, and the Tesla won't do it until it's done. So now you've bought a roof to throw away to put a roof on it. Whereas with the installer, they're local; they can make an agreement, a relationship with the builder, the general contractor, and they can become a subcontractor to put your roof on properly. So you get a solar roof from the get-go. And some whole neighborhoods are their whole thing is we're solar roof neighborhoods. So we've talked about a couple of them. One was in Texas. I think one was like in Connecticut or something, where everybody's got a solar roof. Problem for that for me is it going to be the right level for what I need and what I use? The answer is probably not. Right. But I'm special.
Right. Good point.
And then Marcus was talking about adding a Powerwall. Powerwall 3 is pretty cool because it has a lot of solar inputs. It has a lot more instantaneous and surge power, and so you can get by with less of them for your load. You'll still need them for the capacity if you want to just run off grid. Basically, you'll need more of them, but that's also pretty cool. There's if your load is still within the what the one unit can handle, what the two units can handle, you can get extra battery packs, and the extra battery packs can be added on to just make that one run longer, or those two run longer. Right now, I think there's still I just saw this the other day from a European installer. The add-on packs have to be on the main units. So if you put one on the second unit right now, it's not actually.
Well, now I spoke with one of my guys with Teslas and the engine side and so on about the Power 3, but for me now, he told me my particular one, I wanted to, add one, but he said I couldn't. They're not compatible with each other. Yeah. They're not compatible with each other, which so I said, hey man, what are the ones there for the load in for this the Powerwall 2 then? I know they marked down and what the clearance on it. Let me talk to me.
Yeah.
So
Refurbished.
look, I want to throw this right quick. Like we've been raining. It's been raining all day since it's been raining day and night out here, like nonstop. You can hear about some of the floods, the floods that didn't happen up in Father Austin and so on.
Yeah.
Bless those people that there's a lot of casualties and flood. So bless those family there. But just want to show you, like for example, we have no sun today, last couple of days. So right now, just which is still this is why I say the credits. You probably can see this. This is why the credits are good. Let me see. Let me try to. This is why the credits come in handy if you ask me. For example, like you see right now, we're pulling from the grid now because we don't have no we're pulling from the grid right now because we don't have any we haven't had any sun today or all week actually. But the power walls is at 15% still. This is set like that because I don't want to take no power from it. Just if the power on the grid completely go out, then we'll still be able to have this will provide us for a while, provide our home. So this is what, and then keep in mind, I'm charging my car right now because I was making some runs. Yeah, I'm charging White Ghost up right now. I got like 50 minutes left or whatever. But anyway, that's charging. That's what running. That's what charging the car right now as well. And that's what we're using pretty much right now. And the wife do got the AC on, and like I said, you see my bitch, she keep it freezing up in here. Yes, I'm surprised I got my hoodie on today, but yeah. But yeah, so I just want to show you, like I said, we pulling from the grid, but it's very little. It's very little that we use from the grid. And then, like I said, keep in mind, we still got that credit that we have left. So it's all about numbers, And like I said, I love the clean solar energy that we provide and do. Yeah.
Highlander says, I'm between two nuclear plants. Power almost never shuts off. That's nice. The more solar, the better. Do your price checks, right? Backup system. Exactly. You're gonna want to customize it to your situation. And Timothy is over in Switzerland. I hope it's a vacation, or if it is work that you're having, some free time after work to enjoy the place.
Switzerland
sounds
nice.
Yeah, indeed. So then the other thing with the Powerwall 3 is, again, you got to worry about anybody with the rebates. If you want to get it soon and it was already on the budget, get it before September. And what was I going to say else about it? So he was saying that in Europe right now they're saying that there's a firmware update coming where all of the head units can have extra batteries, but right now only the main. So if you wanted 2 head units and 2 extra batteries, you want to put them both on the main unit for now, or just get them installed, and then you got to wait for a software update to actually use the other one. But your installer will know how to do it. It just may take extra trips, but the good thing is that if you are in a situation where you need extra trips, you can just be chunking that money away. And if you were going to use they have these 0% builder loans, which are pretty cool. But if you were going to use that, you might be able to just chunk the cash at it if you were already putting away the payment.
That's good info.
Yeah. And then they've also got the portable systems. Like I've got the EcoFlow. I've got the EcoFlow Delta Pro. They're onto the Delta Pro 3 and Delta Pro Ultra right now. They work in a couple different ways. You can feed them into a generator inlet on your building or your house, or you can just run a bunch of extension cords to it, or they have what's called the smart home panel, and you can the older smart home panel like I have had a relay system, and it would have a relay per circuit, and the new one is just a whole-on panel that you add in next to your main panel, and it just takes the whole circuit breaker over, which is, I think, cleaner, easier to do for your electrician. But the beauty of them is that you can take them with you if you know you're not in your forever home, or if you are a snowbird, you can just put a panel in each place, and then when you get there, you just plug them into the panel, and they're ready to go. Because if you're not going to be there, you're not going to have food in the fridge. Then do you need the fridge still running? Or say you're going on vacation, like camping or just a road trip, you can take one with you and leave one at the house, because if you're not there, your fridge doesn't need that much power, but you might want it to enjoy, run the laptops, run a projector or whatever. or just if you've got a portable AC and it's just too hot one day, you just can't take it because there's no breeze. You can cut that thing on, boom, hook up some portable solar panels to it. Like they have these suitcase solar panels that aren't. I don't know. I wouldn't pay new full price for them. I look for them refurbished. I look for them used. I look for the off brands.
Best deal.
They charge a mint for the new ones of the same brand. I just gotta
They
watch
probably got the same warranty, probably too, ain't it?
Yes,
Like
you just
the same warranty. Yeah.
If you get one that's too powerful, you don't want to let the magic smoke out of these MPPTs. They're very sensitive. So if it says 150 volts, don't go over 150 volts open circuit. If it says 11 amps, you can give it 40 amps if you want. It doesn't matter, but don't go over your volts. That lets the magic smoke out.
Right.
But you don't have to go big like the Ultra and the Pro. You can just get like a small, like the River. There's other brands that you may have heard of. There's Duracell, there's Jackery. Both of those two charge way more than everybody else. There's Blue Eddy. There's so many choices if you want to do the portable or the temporaries. If you're in a place where you actually own it, but it's not your forever home, you can go ahead and get it either generator inlet put in so that you can just put in whatever, or do like I did and get the panel put in, and then you can take the batteries with you. If you're in a rental situation, then you'll have to do the extension cords, and you can do the balcony solar. I was just watching Zach. He did a install over at Jerry Rig Everything on his house, where Utah, of all places, has allowed balcony solar of the European variety here in the States. So you can plug in your system, and you can use basically 1600 watts, 1200 watts, whatever is rating for a 15 amp circuit, and you can plug in that many panels direct and just push the grid backwards without having to do a full-on solar install. You can do portables, you can do up on the roof or whatever. And then he pointed out that if you have a battery buffer, you can't feed the grid anymore, but you can still feed in another set of panels to charge your battery. So that way at night, you're still good to go, even though you were feeding into the grid, or at least to the house anyway, all day long. So now the sun is down, you've got that battery and it can push in. But because you have the extra solar, you were pushing in more than just matching your consumption. So that way at night, you have a little left over. So it doesn't have to be a $70,000 install. It doesn't have to be a $50,000. I don't even think mine was. I think mine was. It was in the tens, but it wasn't high. There were two things that helped with mine though. I already had something on the roof when I bought the place, and I got the just rolled off the truck special because they ordered a set, and I think they had just come out with 300s at the time. The guy wanted 300s on his house, and they shipped them my 280s, same as what were already on the house. And so I was like, yeah, I'll take them, and they got me a discount, so they didn't have to pay to ship them back.
Right.
Yeah. I always look for a deal. So I saved some of the fee. I had to pay the labor, I had to pay the racking and the time and all that, but I didn't have to pay as much as the new ones cost. They were new, but I didn't have to pay the full price because they were able to save the freight and the marketing and all of that repacking, and so they were able to just put them on the truck and put them on my house. So not a bad deal. Look at that as well. The more solar, the better. Just do your price checks, buy the right backup system. That's right, Highlander. So with that, anybody have any topics they want to cover before we call it a day? I'd say we had a good chat.
Hey, I want to say since you said something about Jackery as well, like tell some let some of the people know that go check out my YouTube on some of my shorts and so on. I'm a racer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you how that. I like people. They see me. They say here they got all kind of nice little funny names for me because I'm an electric guy. I'm just doing totally different from what like my race trailer. I got my enclosed trailer. I got with me and my son. Like we got a race day out there. He called his little dorm room. He got this air mattress. He watching his TV. We got the microwave. We got the refrigerator in there. He just chill because it'd be all day without racing because the sun be so hot and so just an all day event. So he been there chilling and with the AC on my trailer. But I made a video showing everybody that instead of doing the traditional way, what people do, use a gas generator, making all that noise and put it in the air. I use the Jackery system. The big Jackery box is 30 amp that power my trailer load. It's powering all that, my AC, my refrigerator, microwave, and so on, the lights in there. all that's when I got solar panels lit all on the side of my trailer. That in the daytime, the sun is providing that power to that box. So that way, when at nighttime or when the sun going down, that's when I got my box to take care of the rest of the night, the rest of the day or whatever at the track. They, you know, I'm about green, man. I like to set the light, you know, so jackery. I'm trying to, you know, hey, come on now, let's work, you know, because I can make a lot. I made a lot of people look into that, like, man, this man got a good point. And like I said, you know, the loud generators, smelling, because I ain't gonna lie. I've been to racing since I was little, you know. I've been around XL, but you know, it's just different when I'm racing a car that can keep up with some of the best, but not even have to breathe in gas and dealing with gas and nitrous backfire and all kind of dangerous type things.
Yeah, this is a field trip.
I make a video, man. I love doing that kind of stuff, showing demonstrating how green we are at the racetrack.
Yes. Yeah.
And how technology and how this new you can get into these kind of things. But the Jacker is a good brand, you know. Don't get me wrong; they're a good brand as far as solar panel. Because I got a friend, he said he got a rental home. He bought them. It may be what you're talking about, but I know he spends a good money. It's like a battery. It's a backup setup for that as well because they be having storms around the country.
Yeah, Jacker just got into that as well. There's nothing. The product is solid. It's just that they're more expensive than everybody else. So I'm saying, if you like them, look at somebody else. But if they give you a sponsorship, you know, that'd be kind of cool.
It'll work because I can convince a lot of people,
right? So I ended up on the EcoFlow system for, you know, because we were going to take some with us when we go on our travels. Ended up with the EcoFlow Wave 2. We got the EcoFlow Wave original, but the 2 had a heat pump. So I'm like, hey, that means one less thing to carry with us when we go on the road. So we ended up using the Wave 2 when the air conditioner went out in here, and it was hot. It barely kept up because it wasn't made for a room this size. It was made for camping, but it held it off. Like, it didn't get hot until almost sunset, and then after sunset, it was able to catch back up again. So that was a nice touch. The reason I wanted to keep them the same was just because then you could plug in straight into the bigger battery and not have to.
Hey, what brand was that again? I'm gonna look into that one too. What brand was that again?
It was EcoFlow.
Okay.
EcoFlow. They're not as bad on the new price, but they're starting to creep up there. What I do is I always get them used or refurbished.
Right.
That's a good tip on them because I go for the factory refurbished. That way you still got the good warranty.
Yeah.
But it saves so much money to get them on the refurbished. And yeah, so I was going to ask you about the solar, or if you just charge them enough from home, because some people have enough from home, but you said the air conditioner, so yeah, you probably want some solar.
Yeah, it don't. Yeah, I tried that. It went out within an hour, so you know, a couple hours because of it's pulling a lot of power and so on.
Yeah.
But the crazy funny thing about it, I had the panels. I was just being lazy to load them up in the trailer.
Yeah.
But they make it so easy, convenience, man. Like I can go grab it right after. It's a handle, like it's so, and they fold out. They got a little weight to them, but they do though. But they like a briefcase, like carrying a nice little size briefcase. I got like 4 of them right now. I might get 2 more.
Do it.
But they put out the output. They do what they do though. They do some amazing things, and it just
the way to think of both the fixed ones on our roofs and the portable ones is to think of them as TVs, because they're basically reverse flat panels. So a flat panel puts out light, and then they add speakers that put out light and sound. And the solar panel collects the light and turns it into electricity. So it's an oversimplification, but it's an easy way to think of it's a reverse flat panel TV. That's why it's so heavy, and that's also why the ones on the roof work so well. But the other thing with that was the food trucks. That's one thing I don't really care for is you know, you go out there getting this good food, and the smell is just tainted with just like the smell of just gasoline or diesel or propane. When they've got so much roof space, but beyond, you know, the hood, because the hood's got to, you know, have fume extraction. They put a couple panels up there. Put one of these medium-sized battery packs. Like you can do the Delta has a van life edition. Put a stack of 3 of them little dudes up in there, and you can still cook with the propane. You don't have to switch to electric cooking if you don't want to. But I've seen some successful food trucks that do solar with induction cooking, and oh man, so you know, you're not getting that smell or the sound. Like if you start to eat next to the truck and I hear, nah, and if you're just, you know, further back where you can't hear them as well, you're not smelling the propane and the gas drift towards you while you're trying to eat your good food, you got, part of it is the smell. And if the smell is tainted, then the food won't taste as good.
That's a good point, man.
If you're running a food truck, that's something to consider as well. And we're not sponsored, so
exactly
from experience, what we have.
Exactly.
Yeah, so definitely thank you, Marcus, for coming on. What's your channel, and where can people catch you at?
Yeah, please. All platforms. I'm on everything: Twitter, X, or YouTube, Instagram, everything. Everything is just like it says at EV Smoke ATX, which it represents. I like to clarify this because a lot of people think it's smoking. I'm like, nah, it's not that. But EV, which is electric vehicle, which I love. Smoking people on the track or getting smoked because the fastest don't always win, etc. ATX, Austin, Texas. So EV Smoke ATX out of Austin, Texas. You can catch me on all platforms. Check me out. We got some nice stuff going on and some big things happening. I'm an employee at Tesla as well, so I know some of the good things that's coming out with the company, which it's gonna be really impressive. So stay tuned, man. It's fun things. But like I say, Robotaxi out here in Austin is I haven't sat in one yet, but I have seen a couple of them just the other day going by, and it's just amazing showing you where the future is going, But a lot of people try to, criticize this on this and that thing, but they trust me or not, you got to get stuff to get data and so on, but it's going to be worked out by simply a software update. Like I try to tell people about the Brita on the EV, you just have a software update, you got a whole new car sometimes, so just about sitting in the garage or on Wi-Fi or whatever, you got a whole new car. So, but yeah, I love what I do. I'm a techie guy. I'm a geek or whatever, but I love racing. I started my own racing company, which is, like I said, it's called High Voltage and Performance Racing Team. We got some things that we're working on right now. But like I said, our main focus, we focus mainly on electric vehicles right now. Trying to make those stand out and be. Check out my car. I got a 101 that. And grab the eye a lot of people that was like I call non-believers believers, because they were like, wow, I didn't know you can do this, or this thing is fast and so on. It got so bad. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I told you, man, we was at an event. I was begging for a race. Everybody, some people know me. I did what they call a shakedown. I just warm my tires up. I went down that track and I shouldn't have did that. My son said, man. And so no, I was begging for a race. I was like, they said, they don't want no parts of that car. He said, it's quiet and deadly. Like it's ripping people on the track. But it's all about fun. I love what I do. And like I said, just try to convince people on some of the things that I know. I'm good friends with Kacey here. Like I said, he know a lot of things. That's why I love his channel, and he educate people. I went live on my YouTube to try to get some of my people to come over and check him out and follow him because he's really informative. Like if I don't know it, I can ask people like, hey, we always have conversations, about things, and we help each other out. I may know something he may not know, or we'll touch out to somebody and things. But it's all about we're trying to educate the people the right way about sustainable energy out here.
Definitely, So I also want to thank our channel members like Anders and Timothy coming through, and your monetary support helps us meet the bills for this channel. And I want to thank all of you guys for coming through and watching and spending time with us today. We'll thank Marcus again for coming on, and Highlander for doing the moderation of the space, even though X was being a bear today. Let's do. And without all of you guys, this wouldn't be possible to do this week after week. And we haven't missed a day yet. We had some days where it wasn't all that useful. Like I think we've had two of them over the last couple of years. One where I was late, another where the sound just didn't work. We had global catastrophe. We had two kids show up, and we haven't missed one yet. And so I'd like to keep it that way. Enjoy this with you guys. And so with that,
I take my hat off to you for that, because I ain't gonna lie, Kacey. I was like, even though I be on the track sometimes, I would still be listening to you and everything, but I'm like, my man, he's going hard. He take his dedication. So that's dedication, man. We appreciate you though, man, because you really, if anybody deserve it, you do, because you really take pride in what he do here. So all my people go follow him now here, right there. I'm gonna drop the link in my thing as well. But we appreciate you though, man. You take it serious.
Definitely. Thank you. So I'll catch you all on the flip side, and then Marcus, I will chat with you after the outro, and then we'll get some lunch.